Okay. This is an interesting video and it's tied to a previous video I did. Well, I promised to do this particular one next. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Those of you that are my OG, I want to say a big thank you once again. Gang. Am I imitating someone? No. That's just me. Then, if you are just new here, you see my face for the very first time. Let me just use this opportunity to say a special thank you for choosing to stop by, check out what this guy has to say. All right, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Joseph, and this is J.O.S Travel Abroad. Okay, you will know what it means from that name. Coming back to the reason for this video, let me just dive right into it. In that previous videos, I said I was going to give, at least from my own end, a point or my opinion, how you can bring in your dependent a little bit quicker should you looking at either meeting up with the threshold. In case you do not know what I talked about in the family reunification, the threshold, I will see how I will drop the link of that video in the description box, or if there's any way that I can push it up here or there, I will try, so you know what I'm talking about, because I won't really say much. I discussed about the threshold, salary threshold, which is the stable source of income, and I also talked about the those that are exempted, the criteria, other criteria to meet, and those that are exempted for probably the 1 year residence criteria, and what are other things to put into considerations, how to show the proof of that salary, and what other. So these are what I discussed in that video. Then I said, so while looking at the definitions, the understandings of family reunifications, all these things about the requirement and all that legally, the way to go about them. Now, this is my own opinion on what you can do to meet up with that threshold. A quick one. This is a disclaimer. Do not believe that because Joseph said this, J.O.S Travel Abroad said this, that is an official advice that you must take. These are just common opinion or uncommon opinion from my end. More like, okay, look at what about if you look at you take or tap from my own idea and you merge it with other research you did, and then you would work on both and come up with a conclusive decisions that would be beneficial to you. So you are deciding on based on what you can accommodate, financial wise, mentally, physically. These are just suggestion and opinion from my own end. So do not say it's a legal binding or professional advice. Disclaimer, okay? The family reunion, in case, a quick summary. I'm talking about family reunification is how you bring in your dependents to Malta. It's another word for dependent visa. In Europe, mostly they call it family reunification. You bring in there, and some country will lay down principles before you can really be termed or deemed qualified for your family to come. Canada, Malta here has a threshold. It's 18,940 is the stable source of income threshold you need to meet before you bring your family in. And there is a part of the rules that says your disposable income should be superior to this, which simply, from my end, in my understanding, means you have something that is more at least than that. Let's look at 20,000, 21. Now, there's something I didn't mention there. If you go by the definitions of that, it means for somebody to judge yourselves on meeting up that with that threshold, you either will find yourself earning as high as €9 or €10 per hour. For instance, €10 per hour for 40 hours in a week is 400 times 4 is 1,006. Then you are a little bit above. You'll be earning like 19,000 plus per year. You meet up with that threshold. Then anything below that, because if you're looking at the basic, except for instance, you are earning €7.5 per hour and then you are earning like 1,200 in a month, that means you would look for other means. This is the essence of what I want to discuss here. That let's see how we can really work with the things that we call it, because the definition is the stable source of income, which simply can be a collections of allowance, child benefits, old age days, different kind of allowance that can come in, even interest on dividends, and even incomes on rental properties. These are the way you meet it. And then those that are probably on a permanent residence, which is have free movement in EU, and those that are earning eyes are not working with this threshold of 18,940. Though, so the condition, please watch that my video. So it will not look as if I'm repeating that video over again. So how do you now meet up with this? The by calculation, 18,940 is supposed to be like 1,570 something per month gross salary. But having to be a bit above that superior disposable income, we should look at 1.6. 1.6 will give you around 19,020. So we should look at from 1.617. Good. For those of you who are lucky in Malta that you are earning as good reasonable as high as 1,400 normal monthly salary from one employer single permit, then you have, let's say, 200 and 250 euro to go by. Now remember, from the condition attached to the stable source of income, they said your overtime can be considered if it's consistent, and there's a proof of the consistencies of overtime for a period of 6 months or more. If you are somebody that is having overtime from your employer, and in fact, every time it's as if it's the same rate of overtime is coming to you. They told you on paper your salary is 1,400, but you are not given allowance to do more than 40 hours per week. So every week, in fact, you are on a stable 55 or 60 hours per week. That means you are having overtime of 15 or 20 hours addition weekly. If you go by that, you will have a stable overtime that can give you more than 200 and something euro per month, having without minusing the different tasks and all that. That means you met the requirement. So you should be somebody who, regardless of the contractual agreement between you and your employer, that says you are either earning 1.2, 1.3, or 1.4, you are now placed on a constant extra hours that will give a specific overtime monthly for a period of 6 months or more. So if you're on that category, if you're in that category, good luck to you. You meet up with the treasures, look at the video, and gather all the other documents together, apply for your dependents to join you. Then if you are not in that category, there's another set of people that I want to introduce. How do you now try to meet up with the category? First one, I looked at, pardon me if you see me look down, I often do these things. I will list out the things I want to, the point. So I look as if jotted point and then explain based on the point. So the first one is meeting the salary threshold, which we have just explained to you. Then, if you don't really meet up with the salary threshold with the normal salary, those of you that are working in hospitality, services, administrative, and all that, see, logic. There are this set of people that can really meet up with this threshold. If only they have the stamina to do this job they are doing continuously. And I'm looking at logic. If you can go to the construction sectors, construction work, people in this field often earn around 10 euro per hour. Like most people come in as a student and they just find the stamina to work as a construction worker. I do not know why. The Ghanaians is like they used to have meeting among themselves while coming from Ghana to Malta. In fact, 80% of the Ghanaians that have jammed or met in Malta here, they are just always in the construction area. They seem not to even be interested in going and be doing waiter, all these things, while they are doing this common job. Now construction, sha. It's just like now the best thing. Maybe they ask like my friend, if you are coming, Charlie, go straight to construction. Also the Ghanaians, 80% of them are there. And another thing I noticed about the Ghanaian easily push themselves to learn Maltese language, and they kind of get into relationship with these people and the Maltese ladies. Marrying Oyinbo, we will do videos every than that. But the construction area here, the reason being that even if you're doing your 20 hours legally per week, most of the construction pay people on the field 10 euro per hour. 8 to 10 euro. Common rate is 8 to 10 euro per hour. Imagine you're getting 10 euro per hour, that's 200 in a month as a part-time worker, and in a month you are getting like 800. Now imagine you finished and you are now working with that construction company full time, and luckily your salary remain 10 euro per hour. That is 400 per week. For a month is 1,600. The times 12, you already have above the threshold. You are having as 19,000 plus in a month. If you're doing that 40 hours, gone you. I'm talking of stably on the 40 hours proper. You're already earning as high as close to 20,000. So if you have the stamina to do the construction work 1 year straight on your 1 year work permit, and then Then you look at now imagine somebody who in the construction work who can do full time Monday to Friday, 40 hours, and the employer is now saying, okay, I will give you additional Saturday, additional Saturday. So the person is now having stable Saturday in additions, which is giving him that extra €100 every week. That person is getting close to making 1,800 in a month. That is far, far away beyond the threshold. You can easily bring in your wife. Okay? Bring in your wife like that. So if you are in that category, logically, construction work can push you to that meeting up with the threshold faster to bring it. So if you get stamina, my brother, dive right into those section. Go to that department rather area. Then, if you do not have strength, say like me, do I have that strength for construction? And you will see me for gym very soon. If you do not have that stamina to do construction work, then the other thought way to use is then try to look at two jobs. It is legal in Malta. I'm not saying it because it's illegal. No, it's legal. Malta allow you to do two jobs, provided one will be full time and the other one will be part time. Now, the one on full time is the one that gives you the single permit combination, resident permit and work permit. Then the other ones do not need to even give you anything permit, but they will just register you on what is called secondary permit with job loss. That secondary permit will be tied to your main resident card permit. So you are legally allowed to do two jobs. One is on a full time, the other one is a part time. So if you don't have strength to do construction work to quickly meet up with the threshold of 19,000 for something, then go for two jobs, one of full time, one permit. Particularly for those of you that will be either working in offices where you are only peg on 40 hours per week, 8 to 5 job. Then you have two options to luckily get a stable 20 hours extra. It's either you pick up a weekend job from an employer that will give you maybe 13 hours Saturday, Sunday, or 8 hours Saturday, Sunday, or you look for somewhere else that is giving you evening job like for 4 hours extra on Monday to Friday. So it means you can just finish for this one, go and do the other one. But remember, it's still your body. Oh. Health is wealth. If your stamina cannot carry it, maybe we should just leave the posh ones of salary threshold and use another trick. So that's all way it's using two job, full time and part time. If you cannot also do that, full time and part time, this other one is bringing in your family through visitor visa. You can, maybe you don't have a child yet, that's where this probably can work. Because you're already working here and you're married, since you guys married, you came to Malta, your wife actually has missed you. She has missed you. She's not seeing you. So you have some of these salaries proof to at least apply for a visitor visa for your wife to come and visit you. It only would be good if you only have a wife without child, or if you have a wife and a child, then I can even add one thing here. You bring in your wife on a visitor visa. If you bring in your wife on a visitor visa, then maybe you have a good standing relationship with all these agencies that are recruiting here. That some of them even recruit people from outside Malta. Probably you would have been lobbying, talking to one of them already. So as soon as you bring in your wife, you can take your wife to any of these agencies, talk to them. Then they would probably apply for the work permit for your wife. Once they apply for the work permit for your wife, and then once the work permit is coming out and they've gone for their biometric, they have the blue paper. Yeah, they legally they should be able to join use that mate. Although not proven 100% authentic, I cannot say it's that guarantee, but I believe since conversion from student visa to worker has to show proof of breaking up from one employer to the other, that means you're as a visitor visa, you're not tied to anybody while you came, and you have a legal status. So you should be able to apply for work. I mean, the worst that can happen is if the application has not been approved before the expiration of the visa, it's either you look for a way to do extension or your wife leaves, and then once the work permit is approved, then she comes in with a work permit and then use the approval of the work permit, apply for the Schengen visas and come in. But this one, you see the way I'm saying it doesn't look an authentic means. Then if you do not want to do this all this process, maybe I'm talking now in the area of you working already. This is where you are looking at all these means of either you do the meeting up with the threshold, work go in the construction area, then try to do two jobs, full time, part time. But if you don't want to wait, let's say, most of us now, I'm standing, I'm representing my people. Hello, people, I'm representing my people, students. If you don't want to wait until you finish school, then until you start working full time and until they approve your work permit and all that, you can try something else out. You paid your full time school fees while coming in, probably in case of masters and all that. You've paid all the whole money, you're not in there. Then luckily you're not doing part time work. Some of the few money you save in the process and whatever, if you can get extra money and maybe there's some support from home, you can just go and just do something there. Look for a program, an example, MCAS. Some of these programs that are affordable, like 4,500, approach the school, get some affordable course for your wife, then maybe bring in your wife to on a study permit. Let her come and join you on a study permit. So that will be close to towards the end of while you are completing your own program, your wife is coming to start. So even before your wife gets into the middle of the program, you're done with your own, you've started working full time, then you're already supporting her. This plan will be good for someone who are just, newly married, fresh couple without children, because your wife will come in on a work permit, can not come with a child if you have children. So it's better you just go through. If you have children, wife and children, you can only go through the other means. But if it's just your wife, you can just still save and quickly bring her in first. Let her come and meet up with you here. Bring her in as a study. But in fact, in the process of you getting your work permit approved and you've worked 6 months, you are not staying up to 1 year yet. Whatever money you have saved yourself and the small one you have with you before, you can even just bring her in on the study route. So let that be you to be seeing your jewels, your prices jewel directly while you guys start figuring things out together here. That's the clue and the plan I said I wish to discuss with you. Another thing I could easily chip in here is that for in case of those of you that have children yet, no, it will not be ideal, say children. Maybe you are newly married or you're married not too long and you have a child. Probably your child is grown to an extent where you can apply for schools, private schools. You can probably apply for a school for that child. I know it happens in most countries, possible. You probably can apply for a school for that child. It's possible. Go deep into research and find that. If you apply for a school for the child, then your wife then would apply to follow the child down here on a guardian visa. And as soon as they get here, the child is starting the private school. Then your wife coming in on that guardian visa, can then look for a job here and do change of status to that of the work permit. So it's possible. Do deep research on that. I know of other countries that can do that. Someone used that technique to take herself to Poland. A single mom wanted to go to Poland. They just look for schools in Poland and then apply for the child, and then she followed the child to Poland. It's possible. So you can actually do that too. So let's look at it that way. Thank you for at least taking your time to watch the video up to this moment. And I really appreciate all you guys have been doing in terms of the support by probably liking the video. Please kindly also click on the notification bell to get notified when I put out a video. Until then, bye and take care of yourself. Bye for now. Ciao.